Let's actually start off with this, folks. Friday's jobs report shows the U.S. labor market is slowing. Employers added just 22,000 jobs in August, far below expectations, and the unemployment rate ticked up to 4.3%. But Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer says not to worry just yet.
We're seeing the consumer confidence up. We're seeing real wages up year over year, almost 4%. Real wages are up. Unemployment is still holding steady. Statistically, it's non-existent. So that's the key to the American people, is that we're leaning in. We're doing everything we can for this workforce. And now this is one more thing that the Fed can do. And Jerome Powell hasn't done his job.
Former Trump economic advisor and Unleashed Prosperity co-founder Steve Moore joins me now. Steve, thank you so much for being here. So 22,000 jobs added in August, a poor performance. Is this a blip on the radar? Is the economy stalled?
I think it is a blip on the radar, and Brian, and I think that, by the way, there's two surveys they do. One survey showed 22,000 jobs, the one you just reported. That's the headline number. But the other survey showed 280,000 jobs. So here again, we're just getting all these conflicting numbers on what's happening with the jobs in the United States. I think that's a big problem. But there is no question the jobs market has slowed down. I think, frankly, part of this is due to some of the supply chain problems created by the tariffs. But overall, I agree with what President Trump said. As I look at the data, boy, the economy looks really hot right now. You've got a record high stock market. You've got oil and gas production at an all-time high. You've got gasoline prices headed to less than $3 a gallon. You've got a secure border. All of these things are falling into place. So I remain very optimistic about the U.S. economy. Oh, and don't forget, Trump is also bringing hundreds of billions of dollars in investment capital into the United States. That will create hundreds of thousands of jobs as well.
All right, Steve. So Jay Powell, the Fed chair, has said that the tariff policy has really gotten in their way of lowering rates. But now we expect, I believe, at least two more rate cuts moving forward here. So does Jay Powell have a point here? Or was Jay Powell late in cutting the rates?
Well, if you ask President Trump, he calls him too late, Jerome. So I think Donald Trump clearly thinks he's been too late. Listen, I do think you could do a quarter, 50, or maybe 50 basis point reduction, and that is coming. By the way, we are going to get that rate cut. I don't know if it's going to be 25 basis points or 50 basis points, but I think that there has been too much obsession of some of my conservative friends and even people at the White House that think that somehow Jerome Powell can just push a lever or push a button and it's going to restore the economy, or it's going to provide more juice for the economy. I don't agree with that. Look, the most important thing is we get continued strong job growth and investment, but also we need to make sure that inflation doesn't come back and rear its ugly head. That was the undoing of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So we have to keep track. Now, inflation is running at about 2.5% right now. I'd like to see it a little bit lower than that. I want to see it brought down to about 2%. So, you've got these kind of conflicting signals with the economy. But again, if you look at the things that Trump has done on the economy, the deregulation, the pro-American energy policy, and let's not forget the big, beautiful tax bill, those are enormously stimulative to the U.S. economy and to employment.
And Steve, I wanted to bring up this point before I let you go. This is the change in U.S.-born and foreign-born workers. There's 822,000 in decline in foreign-born workers and a 2.76 million increase in U.S.-born workers. What are we to read from that?
Well, I think one of the reasons, by the way, I think you've seen a slight decline in employment in the United States is because you have fewer foreign-born. And look, I'm one who believes that immigrants are good for the economy if they come in legally. We do need the service workers, and they do amazing work, and it's one of the keys of our success. So I am all for deporting. I think, by the way, that the Trump administration has done a great job of getting rid of the criminals, the drug runners, the smugglers, the potential terrorists. But, in terms of we want people who want to come into this country and work and share the American dream. And so I think we need both. We need more American workers and we need more foreign-born workers, because remember, 10,000 people are retiring every day because we're aging. We don't have 10,000 young people entering the workforce. So we need to provide some extra benefit to the economy and to the labor force with the continued legal immigration.
Yeah, legal, exactly. All right, Steve Moore, thank you so much for your insight. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, Brian. Have a great week.
You too.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.